Hey, Trisha. I wanted to discuss something with you. Do you have some time to talk? Please reply to me as soon as possible.
Huh? I'm sorry, but who is this? How did you get this number? I don't have this number in my contacts.
Well, nice to finally meet you, I guess. Even though it's over messaging. It's Ross. I'm Grant's father. I'm sorry for startling you or anything. I got your number from him. I just asked for your contact information from Grant so that I could have a little discussion with you. I just wanted to talk to you myself, then go through my son.
Oh, okay. Is that so? So what is it that you wanted to talk about, Ross? Is everything okay? If something bad has happened, isn't it better to call me?
I just want to confirm something with you. I heard from Grant earlier that you're from a single-parent household. Is this actually true?
Yes, it is. It's just been me and my mom since I was 7 years old. So your answer is yes, I was raised by a single mother.
Are you kidding with me here? You can't be seriously from a single-parent household. Are you actually telling the truth?
Yes, I just told you that you're right. I'm sorry, what's me being raised by just my mom got to do with anything?
Oh God, is that so? Wow, I can't believe this. She must be a very difficult woman to be with if your dad left her so long ago. If you were raised by only her, I don't see much of a future for you. Things don't look so good for you either, Trisha. Such a shame.
Huh? What on earth are you talking about, Ross? My mother left my father because she wanted to protect me. Please don't say such things to me when you don't understand anything about my life or situation. It's just a weird thing to mention.
I was just stating that it's not a great way to grow up. Oh well, whatever, Trisha. I've heard that you're coming over tomorrow to see us. Even if you're 1 minute later to this meetup, I won't forgive you for the way you've been talking and hiding your past.
Huh? I don't quite understand, but okay, I'll be there tomorrow, on time. I wouldn't dare be late to the meetup.
Do you have any idea of your position in society? You're literally the lowest of the low. How did I not know this about you? This is unbelievable.
How dare you speak to me in such an abusive way? As an adult, you should know better than to say terrible things to people that you hardly know. No one in this day and age would flip the tables on someone else to say something so horrible. We just met, Ross.
Well, you win some, you lose some. Whatever you've done up until this point in your life is your fault. Don't even think about playing the victim.
What on earth was all that about? How dare you talk to me like this? I was a kid, and it wasn't my fault. How can you say that to someone who's a victim of abuse? I got burnt on my face and neck from the tea that was splashed on me, all right? It got into my eyes. I could have lost my sight, okay? How dare you do this to me?
Did you even know what happened, or is that what someone told you to say to get me in trouble? You're not blind now, so it's not a problem. Stop over-exaggerating. Do you really think I'm going to let my son get married to a pathetic little woman who's from a single-parent household? There's no way I'll let that happen. Why don't you run off and cry to your miserable mother, you ugly piece of trash? You're not good enough for my son.
In other words, you're annoyed at the fact that I've come from a single-parent household? Are you kidding me? I didn't wish that upon me.
Why should I listen to someone that I know is obviously bad for society? Of course I'm not. I'm an elite bank manager, and I'm not going to let you tarnish my reputation. Grant's also a banker, and you being with him is going to make people gossip like crazy once they know about your single mother. What kind of person are you? Don't you think that you're a societal outcast? I really think you are. It's very off-putting, to be honest.
You know, I think that you're being a little prejudiced right now. What makes bank employees so great, Ross? What makes you so high and mighty? Instead of just bad-mouthing me, why don't you just come out with me? If you have a complaint, then say it. Stop beating around the bush.
Even if I were to tell you, you're sitting at the bottom of society. I think you're actually not intelligent enough to understand what I'm saying. Just saying that you're an outcast in society is the quickest way to explain what I want to say to you.
Ugh, if you're not going to explain yourself, this is not even worth talking about. Have you even thought about your son's intentions at all? You do know that he was the one who proposed to me, right? Don't you have any respect for the decisions he wants to make in life?
Of course, I know about my own son. I'm his father, for goodness sake. But what his father says is absolute, and he doesn't disobey me. As his father, I'm going to be correcting all the mistakes he's made when it comes to you. It's in my blood to do that for my son.
That's such a selfish thing to do, considering your son is a grown man, and he can make his own choices. You can't just control your son for the rest of his life. I get that this is rather out of the blue, but I thought I'd ask anyway. Do you have any intention of apologizing to me for what you said?
There's no way I'm going to apologize to you for this. I've got nothing to be sorry for, you stupid little girl.
I really can't believe that this is really happening to me. I really don't get what's going on at the moment. What happened wasn't necessary at all. Is everything okay with the burn? Oh, I can't believe this happened to you. It would not be great if this burn left you with scars. I don't want that for you. Well, I immediately went and put cool water all over the burn so that it didn't get any worse. I went straight to the hospital after that, so I think it'll be fine. But the doctor did say that my head and my neck might be red for a few days, and then it should go back to how it was before. Well, if the doctor said that, that's great to hear. I would hate for you to put up with scars and uneven skin for the rest of your life, all because of what was done on purpose. I had heard that he works at a reliable bank, but him, a branch manager, doing this to my own daughter? I'm shocked at his behavior. He's a grown man. I think you really need to consider your relationship with him and his family, especially for your future. You shouldn't have to put up with this abusive behavior. Yeah, it's something that I have to do a lot of thinking about for sure. I really can't believe this crap. I'm so disappointed in how he's treating me. It was really hot tea, and it just put all these really bad memories back into my head. I felt like I was reliving what happened to me as a child all over again. Yes, I'm sure you had very similar feelings, and it must have been so hard for you. I'm really sorry that I didn't protect you well during the time your father was around. I was prioritizing work because I was the only one working for our family, and your father was just so stubborn. I hardly saw what he was doing to you, and that's my fault. If I had been with you this time, I might have been able to protect you better. Oh, I feel so bad, Trisha. I'm your mother, and I should be doing more for you. No, please don't say that, Mom. I don't want you to blame yourself in all this, Mom. This is not in any way your fault. I was the one who said that you didn't need to come over to their house in the first place. I thought that I could do the meetup by myself. Also, what happened with my father was over 20 years ago. It was hard, but I'm stronger for what happened. I just didn't think that Ross would do something like that to me. I'm just taking this so badly because I felt like I had no choice but to put work before you so that we could survive. I didn't want you to be lonely all the time. I've said this many times, Mom. I know that you had no choice, and I've understood that for a long time. It's fine to talk about it, but don't blame yourself. It's not your fault. I know that you've been devoted to me, and I know that you had to work hard. But you're also passionate about the work you do. I feel like you worry too much still. It's not good for you. Oh, okay. Well, I suppose you have a point, my dear. I hope that I can get over these feelings in the near future. I really appreciate you saying these kind words to me, Trisha. Oh, by the way, what will you do about Grant when you go over there next time? I think it would be best to tell him how you're feeling about his family. I really don't know what to do with Grant anymore. To be honest, I don't think our relationship is going to work if his father is going to continue being abusive towards me. When I got burned by the tea, he just awkwardly smiled and did nothing to help me out. I couldn't believe it. That's not what someone in a relationship should do. Whatever the reason, I think similar things will happen again in the future if I don't say or do something to help myself. I feel that's a natural decision to make, especially since you got hurt. Their behavior is just disgusting. In that case, you should talk to him about your marriage. If Ross is going to be a rotten father and say crap and do abusive things, he needs to be taught a lesson. Don't worry, this old lady will go and have a word with this so-called elite banker. Really? Are you sure you're okay in taking charge of this, Mom? He can be a very unpredictable man. I just don't want you getting hurt or anything. Oh, it's okay, my dear. I can handle it. I've had to deal with a lot of horrible men in my life. He doesn't scare me one bit. People like him will get carried away with their behavior, and then once they get to a point, he'll explode in rage and then lose the battle. I'll take care of it. Okay, Mom, that would be a big help to me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your help and support in this. I hope that this won't be too much for you to handle. Why, hello there, Ross. We really need to have a discussion. I wanted to talk about my mother wanting to meet up with you to talk about what happened the other day. Do you have time right now to discuss these things with me and my mother? It's of great importance that you do. We're not going to take this sort of behavior from you.
Why are you even asking me for this? Haven't you learned your lesson from the other day yet, Trisha? There's absolutely no point talking to your mother about this, since she'll not understand a word I'm saying. She's at the bottom of society. I don't want to be around her. She's more than likely an inexperienced woman who has no idea how to hold a decent conversation. There's just no point talking about what happened.
You think she's inexperienced? What's that supposed to mean, Ross? She's a human being who knows how to talk and interact with different people. Well, you can rest assured that I've decided to part ways with Grant, since that's what you wanted, right?
Oh my god, really? Is this actually happening right now? Wow. Someone pinch me. Has Grant finally come to his senses about you? If that's really the case, then there's definitely no point in having a conversation with either you or your good-for-nothing mother. It's time for you to get lost, Trisha.
I can't believe how immature you're being right now, and you're a full-grown man. I guess I'll just block you all then. No matter what happens from now on, you won't be able to follow me on any of my platforms. I don't think I'll have any regrets making this decision.
Wow, you're so defeated that you don't even know what to say anymore. That's such a shame that I made you go silent. Oh well, you're going to be the least of my problems now. It's going to be great not having to put up with you anymore. I'll be able to get a better wife for my son. Someone who is upper class. You're such a typical woman who says a lot at the start and then ends with nothing but silence. Get lost, you piece of garbage. You mean nothing to society.
Hello, I hope this is Ross's cell phone number because we need to talk. It's very urgent and it concerns my daughter. Oh, sorry, this is Freya. I'm Trisha's mother and I really need to speak with you, so if you could please reply, that would be great.
Excuse me? What's with you messaging me all of a sudden? What do you want? How could you get my number and be so rude and impatient with me? Who gave you my contact information in the first place? I don't just hand out my phone number to everyone and anyone.
Don't you think that it's obvious that I got your number from my own daughter, since you were the one that messaged her and said horrible things? Please, just think of me as doing the same thing as what you did by getting my daughter's number from your son.
Excuse me? How dare you talk to me in such a cocky way? I'll not put up with this type of crap from someone like you. How can you be so bossy?
You do realize that this isn't like the old days anymore. There should be no superiority or inferiority when it comes to talking to the opposite sex, okay? Anyways, what I wanted to say is that I wanted to talk to you about the meetup you had with my daughter the other day. Can we talk for a little bit?
Let me guess. You've gotten my number from her after she ran crying to you about what happened. Are you kidding me? And now you're here to complain about me? That child of yours can't keep her big mouth shut because she wants her little old mommy to protect her. Am I right, you old hag?
Well, she did say to me that it was going to be a challenge talking to you because of the way you speak to others. You know, I don't really mind if you think that about me. I heard that you spoke to my daughter in a rude and inconsiderate way when she's actually an adult and deserves some respect. You even went so far as to accidentally spill hot boiling tea on her. Who does that to someone, huh? I just want to know what made you treat her like this. Did she say or do anything to you to offend you? I really don't think she did anything, and you're just being horrible.
It's just a natural result of things that happen to people who are at the bottom of society. She just has bad luck. If you really want to know why, I'll tell you my side of the story. It's because she's a woman from a low educational background and she grew up in a single-parent household. She was trying to win over my elite son. Since when is the scum of society allowed to do that to us upper-class people, We're a family of bankers, for goodness sake. We don't want to mix with the likes of her. We're very different from the low-life scum such as you, Freya, or whatever your name is.
Ugh. So you basically think everyone else is below you, is that it? What makes bankers so high and mighty? Since when were you all the kings of society? Do you really think that you're better than us, the people who work hard every day and sacrifice things for others and care about people's lives?
Of course we are. Naturally, we have more of a right to say and do what we want than lowlifes like you. We hold everyone's money hostage, basically. We have a lot of control of what happens to people's money, so that means we've got a lot of power. But of course, you don't like that, do you? Without banks, the economy can't survive in this day and age. Don't you see what a great deal of good we do? That means the bank employees are the best workers.
I am honestly stunned by what you just said. I think that you're absolutely delusional. Have you lost your mind or something? There are countless jobs in the world that we would all be in trouble without. It's not always about money and how it's stored. There's absolutely more to this world than money, but you're too blind and arrogant to see that. How can you be so rude and arrogant towards people? I've got a good idea now on what kind of person you are, Ross. There doesn't seem to be any point in talking about this any further.
If you're giving up on talking to me, don't even think about sending me any messages after this, or for the rest of your natural-born life. You're wasting your time and energy with me. I'll always be at the top with my family, and you'll always be at the bottom of society with your scumbag of a daughter.
Well, I don't mind being where I am right now in society, but I think it might bother you a lot, Ross. I think it's now about time for you to receive a phone call from the president of your company. I think they need to know what you're really like as a person.
Wait, what did you just say? What do you mean I'm getting a phone call? Are you threatening me? I don't understand what you're saying, you old hag. Oh my god, this can't be happening right now. Just hold on a minute. What's going on?
Oh, it's you. Look, I'm kind of busy at the moment. I'm just trying to look up on the internet how I can block you from ever talking to me.
Please, wait a moment. Okay, we really need to talk about what's going on here because I need some sort of explanation. I need to understand this.
Oh, is your call with the president of your company over already? Well, I can only guess what you were talking about.
No way this is happening right now. This can't simply be true. This must be some kind of joke or something. Are you both pranking me? The president of my company called and I don't understand how you got to be such a high-up person.
I don't know what's not sinking in for you, Ross. My name is Freya Lloyd. I thought I told you my full name. I guess I couldn't have.
So, I don't get what's going on. You need to be more specific. What do you mean that you're going to cancel and move the bank account you have?
Yesterday evening, I was told all about the ongoing situation you're putting my daughter through. She's had enough of your actions. Sorry, not sorry, but I've got no intentions of continuing to work with a bank that has people hurting my daughter. I'll not stand for this abuse or anything else. I've moved all the money I had to another bank. It's already been deposited into a different account. Luckily, the move was pretty simple.
But that's not great. You didn't need to take it that far. I've hardly did anything. I still don't get how you got the president to call me. This doesn't make sense at all.
I'm sure that you know that I had almost $1.5 million in that account, right? It's always a thrill watching it all move over to another bank. You know, I've dealt with a lot through this bank, such as taking out loans and being indebted to them, but it all ends today because of you.
Please don't do anything so rash like this. We're a good banking firm, and we're really happy that you trusted us to handle your money. Just please wait.
Why should I have to wait for? Why should I listen to you after all of the things you've done to my daughter? Don't you think I've had enough of that crap?
But that's just not fair if you don't listen to me. Look, this was all a misunderstanding. There's no way that I hurt your daughter. You can't believe everything she's saying. I remember now. Your daughter got those burns all on her own because she was taken by surprise and hot tea got on her face. And yet, of all of the things that could happen right now, I'm the one being blamed for everything. It's not true.
Excuse me? Are you telling me that my daughter is the one lying? Are you insane? She knows better than to lie to her mother. There's no way that she did that.
Yeah, well, I guess you have to say that since you're her mother and all. Okay, look, it was true that I might have bumped into the table, but it wasn't on purpose. If I didn't do it on purpose, then your daughter purposely covered herself with the hot tea and started making a fuss.
Well, to me, that's a very strange excuse. I really don't think that someone can just throw hot tea on themselves on purpose.
But that's exactly what happened. I'm telling the truth. Please believe me. I've got no excuse to lie.
I can't believe you'd think so low to accuse my daughter of hurting herself. I guess you've got no intention of apologizing for what you've done.
Okay, fine. It's true that I've had some thought about what I've done. Maybe I made your daughter feel a little bit uncomfortable at some point. I guess I've got a little bit of room in my head to consider how I've been treating her, but she's over-exaggerating a little. Honestly, I've been told by the company's president that if things continue as they are, I'll be subject to disciplinary dismissal. Don't you think that you and your daughter are going a little too far with this? Think about it. I've hardly done anything wrong.
Okay, well, I suppose I understand where you're coming from, Ross. Well then, can I ask you about one more thing before I end this conversation?
Okay. What is it that you want to talk about now? I'm really over this entire conversation. You're not going to accuse me of anything more, are you?
I want to know why you look down on single-parent families so much. What's so wrong with me being a single mother?
Well, you know, that's a really difficult question to answer, so I don't know if I can come up with an answer right away.
Ross, I've been a single mother for over 20 years now. I divorced my husband because he treated my daughter terribly and was verbally and physically abusive.
What? He actually abused your daughter? Is that really why you've been a single mother for so long?
At the time, my husband lost his job when his company went bankrupt, so it was up to me to control the household finances. Maybe it was my fault that I didn't see what was truly going on at home, but things weren't going well for us as a family. When Trisha was an elementary school student, he started hitting her, especially when she misbehaved or was late home from school.
She was only an elementary school student. She probably said something to your husband that he didn't like. Would it not be her fault?
Okay, yeah, I get what you mean. It's natural for children to talk back to their parents, yes. It's proof of their development and their language skills. I understand that some people would get angry by that kind of attitude from a child, but you know I can't forgive a horrible person like you pouring a hot drink on her.
What on earth are you about, you mad woman? Even the story is changing every time it gets mentioned. You both are over-exaggerating the situation.
Are you kidding me? Even hot drinks can cause serious burns on a person. It can leave scars if it's not treated properly. That's what happened with the scar on her arm. It was left too long and couldn't be treated properly at all.
Wait, what? She's got a scar on her arm? When I met her at the house, I never noticed that she had a mark on her at all. I wasn't even looking at her arms in great detail.
Well, she does, but I'm glad it's not as noticeable as what it used to be. I was working all the time, so by the time I got back home, hours had passed since the abuse occurred. When I finally saw Trisha with my own eyes, I realized that things weren't going well the way they were. What are parents if they can't protect their kids? Ever since then, it's just been us two living together. She's always been a good daughter and has also taken care of me when things got tough. I sent her to a public high school and she went to a national university so that we could avoid getting into any financial burden. Even after she graduated, she helped me with chores, work, and kept our house in a good condition.
Well, I guess if she did all of that for you despite what happened to her, she's a strong and wonderful woman.
Yes, she very much is, Ross. I am very proud of my daughter and what she's accomplished despite her rocky start at life. So are you going to continue looking down on her and say to tell her that she's the scum of society while you laugh your butt off?
No, I'd not do that to her. Didn't I say that that was a misunderstanding on my part? I had no idea what her life was like until now. I still think she was also being very rude to me when she thought I did and said all of those terrible things to her.
Excuse me? You're saying that she was the one being rude? Are you kidding me? This is the first time I'm hearing of this. Could you please tell me more of the details?
If I were to choose how to put this, I would say that it's the way that she spoke her opinion. It was very disrespectful and rude. She shouldn't talk to someone older like that. She's obviously got no respect for her male counterparts.
Are you being serious right now? Is that it? She was rude because she was actually voicing her own opinion?
That's it, yes. She was coming across very rude, and it seemed like her opinion was the only one that mattered.
But do you have any clue why she used the voice she did? Don't you remember that you burned her skin and ruined her engagement? She's always supported me in whatever I do for myself and for her. I was the one that was helped, but you obviously don't care about that. I was so happy when I heard that she was going to get married. She was actually doing something for herself, and you ruined it. She finally found happiness.
But at the time when all this was going down, I had no choice in the matter. I needed to do what was best for my family, especially for my son.
You think you had no choice? Of course you had a choice. You decided to sabotage a relationship because of your beliefs about how people in this society should marry. Whatever, Ross. You've really done it now, and I can't turn back time. I think more needs to be discussed about this, but nothing is getting through to you.
Come on, Freya. We're adults and don't need to continue on with this. We can make a fair judgment about this. Just think about it, please.
Fine. I'm going to think about what you said, and I'll get back to you in a few days. But to be honest, I think you're a failure as a parent.
Mrs. Lloyd, what the heck is going on? Everything is falling apart here. This can't be happening to me.
Why are you messaging me? Oh, I suppose it's been a few days now. Did something happen this morning? What are you talking about?
Please, you can't give up on this situation. My wife and my son have found out about this and have decided to cut me off. I got home to find only completed divorce papers that I need to sign and a note saying that she's returned to her parents' house. Why on earth are you meddling into my family matters? Was this what you were planning these last few days?
I haven't interfered at all, not even once, Ross. I only listened to your story after your son came to me for advice. Your wife seemed worried as well. We ended up talking about a lot of things together, and your wife just seemed to come to those decisions, I guess. I had no idea. Your wife is good at making tea, by the way.
So you're telling me that my wife made these decisions herself? That she left on her own free will?
Why, of course, Ross. Once she knew what you had done and said to my daughter, she couldn't stand the thought of being married to you any longer. Were you not aware that the content of the conversation was obviously about you? Why else would she come to me?
I had no idea that she'd turn around and do this to me. I thought that as my wife, she'd stick by me no matter what.
Well, I guess even your wife had her limits, Ross. I also heard that you always raise your hand at girls if you don't like what they say to you. I wonder how many times you've tried to swing your fist at a poor innocent woman, Ross. You're poison and don't deserve anything good in life.
That's not true. I weren't even hurt a fly. That's all lies. I'm not like that at all. I'm not abusive.
If a woman didn't listen, what would you say and do to her then? Your wife and son were so scared of your words and actions that they couldn't move. They froze on the spot. So I told them that a wise thing to do right now would be to keep their distance from you.
They're staying away from me? You told them to do that? Why would there be any need to do that? I'd never hurt my family.
Stop lying. You're nothing more than an abusive man who likes to have power over people and their decision-making. I'll not let a family suffer like my daughter did. Your son froze so many times that it ended up backfiring, and he didn't help my daughter. He couldn't move, let alone protect her from you. I understand why, but it's pathetic how another man can't stand up for his future wife. He's got no right to be with Trisha any longer.
Please, Freya. Look, I really just want my family to come back home so I can explain to them that I can change and get some help or something. I'm not as violent as you think I am. I just wanted some respect from the people around me, but they thought their opinions were more important. I really had no idea what happened to your daughter, and if I could take back what happened, I would in a heartbeat. Just don't sabotage my life.
I'm not the one sabotaging your life, Ross. You did that all on your own. You've got to live with the consequences that you face now. Don't even think about going near your family, or the police will be the next ones involved with this. And I bet you don't want that now, do you? You'll also not contact me ever again, and you're never to come and talk to my daughter either. If you harass her again, you're going to have to answer to me. Also, just a little warning for you. Your wife, your son, and my daughter are requesting compensation for all the things you've threatened them with. Also, for the physical abuse you've left on them. They might have scars for the rest of their lives, but at least they can get the financial compensation that they deserve.
Wait, no. They can't do this to me. How am I supposed to pay for anything if I'm not going to have a job? I can't be fired then. This is so not fair. Give me a chance to make it up to them.
Life isn't fair, Ross. Also, you're from the upper class. I'm sure you can sell a couple of cars you own, or perhaps actually find another job. The evidence is very much against you in this, Ross. Don't even think about defying the law. You won't win. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have things to prepare for this hearing. I hope that you'll enjoy your scummy and miserable life. You did this all to yourself. After Ross was exposed for what he did to Trisha and to his family, he was immediately fired from the bank that he worked at. He was kicked out of the industry and desperately tried to pay back the damages he made to Trisha and to his wife and son for the abuse. However, he got fed up with making the repayments and turned to a dark company to fund his compensation payments. After a few months, it was rumored that he had tried to leave town but then got arrested by debt collectors. Since he's been caught, it'll be a mystery as to what happens to him next. His wife and son seemed to be living a modest life and were supporting each other after the abuse. Trisha wants to spend her life in a peaceful way from now on. She's now the president of the company and receiving guidance from her mother, who is the chairman. She knows it's tough, but it's a rewarding job and will do her best. Her mother was so strong and dealt with all of this so well, Trisha will continue to work hard and search for her next love.